When I first got into trading crypto, January 2024, I had some ridiculous luck. I was 18 years old, still in college, and I turned $500 into $104,000 in only 4 months of trading meme coins. And it wasn't just a linear journey of only up. During the first 3 months, I still had a $500 portfolio, which is how much I started with after trading sometimes 18 hours a day. But when May hit, the crypto on-chain market exploded, and that $500 turned into $104,000. As a teenager, I had made 6 figures in less than 2 weeks, and growing up in a very traditional Asian family who really nailed into my head the value of saving money and prestigious education being the only path to that money, these 2 weeks just completely altered my brain chemistry. But in just a month, the market crashed and I lost almost all of it. I got way too overconfident from my previous success, and I turned $104,000 into $18,000. And I realized that I only made that 6 figures because of good market conditions. And yes, I eventually ran it up to where I am now. But if you've spent any time trading at all, even outside of crypto in any kind of market, you know that trading is more of a mental game. And a lot of people want to know how. How did this guy hit $1 million P&L? How did this guy make 100x return? But more important than that is the why. Because that period of round tripping my portfolio, 80% at that scale for the very first time, was one of the lowest points in my entire life. After it happened, I was going out drinking every other day. I was staying up playing this game called League of Legends and watching Game of Thrones while my friends in my trading group were still grinding after they got hit by the war crash. And I would start attending Cornell University in just a few months as well. I had pretty much given up on trading. I accepted that I would be working in corporate for the rest of my life. But during those nights, I would stay up, I would just sit down contemplating if this was all I'd be doing for the rest of my life. Staying up, playing video games, meaningless drinking, nothing to show for myself except for my rank on League. But when I look back on it now, these darkest moments, I would tell you that that was the most important summer of my life. That was the summer I found my why. Why did I need this to work out so badly? So that my life wouldn't just be defined by my rank on League. Why did I need this to work out so badly? So I wouldn't just spend the rest of my days in my parents' basement. Why did I need this to work out so badly so my parents, who poured their blood, sweat, and money into me, wouldn't have anything to show but a NEET who just cared about video games and pretty girls? And with all the time it took me to think of these things, it took me a month and a half before my summer ended and I started trading again. But what I didn't know at the time was that period was the most important phase of my life. I started accumulating this one coin on ETH called the Joe coin. I bought in when it was at a $5 million market cap, and I kept averaging down when it went to a $3.8 million market cap because I noticed it was the strongest coin on Ethereum when the market was hot, and I was extremely bullish on the market coming back for the election. That was the market bottom. That single play started my entire comeback story. And I set goals like getting back to my initial 6-figure port, then 300K, then 750K, then $1 million. On-chain and meme coins started heating up again, and I was hitting sometimes $20,000 days in the trenches while I was attending Cornell, because this was when school started. And when AI meta hit, I had made it. I had reached a point in my career that even if I stepped out of the game, I would have had enough to live comfortably. Like, to really put this into perspective, if you told me how much I was making during this period a year ago, I would have just straight up laughed in front of your face. There were plays like VideoCoin, a play I actually made a video about breaking this down, where I would wake up to hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit. I'm not joking when I say this was an absolutely insane period of the market. I had completely changed as a person in my drive, and I know all this came from the simple fact that I had an actual goal in mind and reasons behind that goal. I was at a point in my life where I was improving every day and going further and further on my journey, but I could also finally appreciate where I was at as well. And those 18 hours a day I spent trading just to break even or lose money at the end of my day, trying to balance my academics and social life, everything finally paid off only when I asked myself, why was I here? And your why is going to be different from everyone. It can be anything: for yourself, your family, for your lover, for your future lover. But from what I found, if your only answer is money or something material, your why has no substance. Yes, it's one of the leading drivers of today's world and why I do what I can to educate you on how to make it. But numbers alone won't get you through your darkest periods. And even if it does push you, it's not going to let you appreciate where you are. It took me months of 18-hour days and $100,000 loss for me to learn this. But I can prove this to you right now and try to help you with your why. Just sit and imagine you just got wiped out of the world. No preparation, just gone. In all seriousness, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? Is it that you wouldn't have had anything to show your parents? Is it that you wouldn't be able to support your family? Or maybe you just wish you could have had more experiences for yourself. But you probably didn't think of some arbitrary number in your portfolio or your account. That is your why. That is what you live for right now. So every time you take a trade, think of your why. Really take a second to think, will this further help my purpose for living? I know it's difficult. I mean, I just poured my entire heart out to show you. You think you're doing well, but then you see people making more than you do, and you start wanting more as well, and you're asking yourself if this cycle will ever end. The unfortunate truth is that it never will. I had $500, then 100K, then 300K, then $1 million, then 3 mil. I still wanted more. There are people out there with billions who are still working relentlessly. So stop looking for a why in money and material. Find what you're doing all this for. And there's a quote that stuck with me forever, and that's, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Before you put in the hours, before you go all in, before you go to sleep, ask yourself, why am I here? And just talk to yourself for a little bit. It'll change you as a person. It did for me. And if you're still searching for your why, I built the Fortune Inner Circle for people like you, traders who want to actually win in this game, not just financially, but mentally. I've done everything I can to make it the only actual mentorship experience in crypto. Not only is it made up of verified 7 and 8 figure traders, but also people like Bowen, someone who went from not knowing a single thing about crypto. I mean, this guy was literally asking me questions about 12K market cap shitcoins to hitting his first $100,000 play. These are people willing to take the journey from the ground up, people who show us their drive. So if you're ready to take that next step, to stop trading blindly and maybe get a clearer idea of your purpose, the link's in the description to apply. But beyond that, all the best to you in finding your why. Peace.